I do with my timeshare in 2025. Here's the game plan I would do if you have a timeshare. So I'm gonna go over it two different ways. One if you own points, and then one if you have weeks. So forgive me for combining them, but let's see why don't you start with a general plan? How much do you usually use the timeshare? Like, do you go like a whole week? Do you go on shorter stays? You kind of want to know that up front so you can kind of game plan it out. And I know people hate to plan and do things ahead of time, and vacation sometimes supposed to be fun and spontaneous, but with a timeshare, the downside is you give up your instant gratification to, you know, save a ton of money. Like, we're just doing one for a client, and to stay at the Marriott Coalina on Marriott.com is $1,000 a night. So in those instances, your timeshare is a good deal because he's using his week there, and his maintenance is $3,000. So those are good deals. But like 60% of the time, you can rent the timeshares for the same price as the maintenance. But anyway, so you want to make sure you're using it for the best times of the year and for your main vacations. And so you really need to kind of know first how you want to use it, because that determines your strategy for the year. Like, if you know you like to go a whole week at a certain place, I always recommend just book it ahead of time. You can always cancel it and just put a note in your phone, you know, cancel a weekend, you know, Depot Bay, Washington, or Alexandria, Virginia. Usually you can cancel down to 60 days before check-in, but you can, so you're not at risk of losing anything. But if you're gonna go, you already have the week booked. And the best part of travel is the excitement leading up to the trip. Like, knowing you're like, sweet, I got a break coming in a few months and I don't have to work and, you know, mow the yard and all that stuff. So that's like the best part. So knowing you have a trip booked, plus then it's easier to get airfare, it's easier to get car rental, it's easier to get all that stuff set up. So kind of come up with a plan. If you want to do mini trips, then do the same thing too. Especially like if you like to go on the weekends or you have kids in school, book the weekends out ahead of time, because you can always cancel those usually on a shorter time frame. So I would get what you think you might want to do for that year just booked and something, because you do kind of give up, especially if you're trying to go during the peak times of the year when the kids are out of school or it's a holiday or something. Then those, you have to plan ahead on a timeshare. I don't know any timeshare company where it's easy to get those reservations ahead of time. Marriott, definitely the easiest. That's why Marriott's by far the best timeshare program out there from what I've seen. Especially now that they bought everything. So they own Westin now, Lawrence Welk, Hyatt, Interval. Pretty soon there's only gonna be there. Well, there really is like only 2 or 3 companies now, but which I don't like, because competition breeds, you know, more improvements. But we are where we are. And then you want to see if you can't use it or you don't think you're going to use it. I would always recommend coming through my company to rent out to cover your maintenance fees, because I see so many owners, and I realized this when I sold timeshares. A lot of, you know, things come up in life and you can't use the timeshare every year. So one strategy is you could always just rent it out through us. You're not going to get much more than your maintenance, but you'll get about your maintenance costs. But I mean, you're not going to get rich or turn into Bill Gates. So if you want to make money, then rent it out on your own. That's always the best way to do it. But even then, a lot of people, you know, don't really end up getting more than their maintenance, and it's quite a pain in the butt. So if you don't need the extra little few $100s or whatever, then or in some cases it could be a significant amount. If you rent it out like the Atlantis in the Bahamas for $6,000 and your maintenance is only $2,000, well, it's a hell of a lot better than what we would give you for sure. So always do it on your own if you can. If not, you want to make it easy. You're not trying to get rich, but you're like, damn, I don't know if we can go on vacation this year. Just have us or somebody else, whatever. Obviously I'm more biased towards our company and we'll rent out the points for you. Or if you're going to do it on your own, you want to start planning that ahead of time, because like the only time you're going to get more money than we would pay you is if you get the prime times. And the prime times, like we're doing one for a client this morning. He wanted us to book it for him in Hawaii. Well, the entire summer sold out already, which is the best time, and his expires and December 31st. And then he doesn't have access to Christmas, New Year's week. Those are, you know, specifically bought. So like the last 2 weeks in December, they're always booked up. So you got September through May, and then, or September through November, rather. So if you're gonna rent it yourself, you gotta plan ahead. And then even if you're gonna give it to somebody like us, if you have points, we will need some time to get it rented, because sometimes we get, you know, 100,000 points in our queue, or 200,000 points in our queue. One time at the beginning of last year, I had 800,000 points in our queue. We had to burn, you know, through to get to everybody quickly. So you think ahead on what you want to do that's best for you and your family, because and every year is going to change. So like what I'm thinking of telling people is you can always rent out your current year's points, right, through us. That way your maintenance is paid for. And then you can always borrow points from the year ahead, or we can even rent out your points from the year ahead, and you can pay your maintenance ahead of time. Whatever you think's easiest for you and your family. But like if you're the type of person that forgets things, or you're like, oh shit, it's October and I need to, you know, do something with this timeshare, and and you're like stuck scrambling, and this happens all the time. So I'm talking to those people, just pretty much talking to me. So I always forget to the last minute. But I remember when I was selling timeshares, and I always booked at the last minute. But then I had learned that from an owner. I learned all the best stuff from the owners, and they're like, just book it ahead of time, and it's way easier, and you have something to look forward to, and you already instinctively know to make, you know, plans around that, because you already had it pre-booked. So it made it way better. And then we went on way more vacations. We enjoyed it more. So that was a good thing about the timeshares that I liked. It forced us to go, because like I haven't been using my timeshares the last couple years. And then when we go to, like, because we only like to stay at Airbnbs, because God forbid my wife travels without the friggin' dog. But I have to take my little angel everywhere, so I'm with her on that. But anyways, when you're booking Airbnbs, it's like $3,000 or $4,000 plus the cleaning fee. So, you know, for a nice house that, you know, we'd like to stay at, which is about the cost of your timeshare maintenance fee. But it's like when you have to pay that cash, you end up not going as much, I find. It's maybe because I'm cheap, but I traveled way more when we use the timeshare all the time. So figure out something ahead of time. Kind of try to strategize that about your maintenance. If you want somebody like us to rent it out for you, or if you're going to rent it out yourself on Red Week or Timeshare Users Group, you know, you can post things in there. It's like $25 a year or whatever. Or you can go into, like, there's all kinds of Facebook groups you can go into for your developer. You know, it's like Wyndham Facebook groups, Holiday Inn, whatever, you know, whatever. And then you can post in there. Typically, most timeshare owners are looking for deals, though, so you're not really going to get much more than your maintenance fee anyways. So you could just do it with a professional company like us. We make it super easy. You just send us a screenshot of your account, say, I want to rent these points out. My team handles everything for you. And then every 2 weeks, whatever guests checked in during that time, we mail you out a payment for whatever the agreed upon price per point was for your developer for that year. So you can do that. You can also donate it to a charity. My neighbor has this charity with the veterans that he helps, so I give him weeks of vacation and stuff. And like I gotta get him to get a testimonial, because he makes like $50,000 in donations off these weeks that I donate to him. So that's pretty cool. Plus I feel good about myself, you know, making up for all my past sins. So you can donate to your charity. You can trade services. You can trade your accountant, your bookkeeper, your car mechanic, your fitness coach, your whatever. You can trade for stuff like that. Barter, and there's even websites now where you can barter for stuff. So don't discount bartering. There's a YouTube show. It's called The Red Paperclip, and the guy trades all the way from a red paperclip to a house. So it does happen. You know, so you can do it. So you can still barter, rent it out, use it. I highly encourage you to never use any of the timeshare developers extra things like airfare, car rental, cruises, tour packages. I still haven't seen any that are a good deal. And if you have gotten a good deal on one, please notify us in the comments or email us at support@timesharesimplified.com, because I don't want to be disparaging to them, but it appears to me in math that they only give you about 60% of your maintenance value for whatever you do besides you know, staying at the Marriott properties or your own properties. So plus you got to think all the money you paid up front, so you're not even getting your maintenance fees worth of value back, not to mention eating into the tens of thousands of dollars you pay up front. I don't know, the timeshare companies are kind of on my shit list, so they just need to do a better job. Like, they pay more value, in my opinion. So like, some of those cruises can be good, but I haven't seen a lot where it was like, oh yeah, I'm getting more than my maintenance. Very few. But like I said, if you've gotten one like that, please let me know, because I want to be fair to them. I mean, I feel bad, I sold them for so long and I believe in the product. I don't really use it at all now, but it was great for me and my family. I had tons of good memories. And then, you know, we're in the business to help timeshare owners. But if you have some boots on the ground, some better stuff, let me know. Okay, so you have that, bartering. Okay, now getting reservations. So I've done other videos on this. Damn, I always make these videos so long, sorry. So if you can't get what you want, like if you go online and you can't get what you want, always use the waiting list. A lot of them, like especially Marriott owners, don't know they can use the waiting list. Worldmark has a wait list feature in your online account, so you can do a wait list. So you can do that right there online. Marriott, you have to go on chat and do it, or call them on the phone and they'll take care of your wait list request. And then it just confirms, because everything's ran by computers now. So if there's somebody on the waiting list, it's just gonna spit you out the reservation. It's just gonna email you, hey, your Aruba week came up, and then spit you out the reservation. So don't discount the waiting list, because even in our business, I'd have to say like, the exact numbers, like it obviously varies, but it's like 15% of all reservations cancel. So it's a huge issue for us. And that's why we used to pay people up front before the guests even checked in, but it just became a logistical nightmare. I've even invested like $100,000 in this database to like try to keep track of it, and it was just, even with that, it was way too much, because if this person cancels and then they own their ownership with their ex-wife, and their ex-wife gets to use it too, and then they use some to go on a day trip out of the allocation they gave us, and they had 4 lines of points, and then we cancel, and then we'd use the wrong 10 points out of the wrong line, and then people would be like all upset at the team, and then we'd have to go do like a huge audit of their account. And some of these people have like 20, 30, 50, 100 reservations, and we got to go through each one by hand. So it became a logistical nightmare. So unfortunately we can't pay everybody ahead of time before they check in like we were able to when we first started the company. But well, whatever, you get paid when I get paid. Shoot, what was I going over? Okay, so you got that, the wait list. So use the waiting list. Don't be afraid of using the waiting list. And if you're going to use Interval, remember, go to Interval where your resort is owned at, go to the travel demand index, click on that, pick the box that's the farthest to the right in the season you own at. So if you own Platinum season and you're allowed to book any time of the year in Platinum season, which includes the summer, then go to the right, see what box is furthest to the right. If you look at the bottom of the chart, it goes 0 to 150. So you want to get a 150 box in the season you own at. That's the week you want to book, and then deposit that with Interval, which you can do all online now. I think you can even do it from your Marriott account when you book the week. I think you can just go I deposit on there, but I don't know if that allows them to book the week. I always book it myself, so I make sure and get the right one. So that way you get maximum trading value. So say you own Marriott Grand Vista in Orlando and you own summer season. You go, there's only like one good week in the summer to trade out of there, which is week, I think it's 4th of July probably. And then you book that week. Then you take that confirmation number, log into your interval account, and deposit that week there. Now, remember, the week you trade, that's not when you have to go. You can go anytime the year before that date or up to 2 years after that date. So you have a 3-year window on when to travel. And 3 years goes awfully fast because I've lost a couple weeks that way. That's the one thing about getting older. You don't realize how fast like years go by. We're gonna be sad to leave Nashville here, but we're going on a huge adventure. We sold the house, putting it into Bitcoin. Then we're going to London, or no, we're gonna go to Knoxville. Then we're gonna go to New Jersey. No, we're gonna go to Lexington, Virginia. Then Washington, D.C. Then we're gonna go to New Jersey. Then we gotta go to another place outside Teterboro, New Jersey. Then we found this thing, K9 Jets, where you fly your dog on a private jet. So we're gonna take that to London and then stay a couple weeks in London. Then we're going over to Brussels because our girls are gonna train in circus arts in Russia. So we got quite the adventure going. So anyway, then we get sidetracked, but just a little life update. So you're on the wait list. So, we're on interval. Okay, so then you deposit that with interval. Now with interval, you will never 99.9% of the time ever get an interval trade by going on there and searching, hey, I need this destination, Hawaii or Aruba in March. It will never pop up. It will never show up. That doesn't mean you can't get it. It just means you can't do it that way. You always have to do what's called the ongoing search. So then you just click the ongoing search button and then put in the dates you want. And the broader you can be on any of the dates, the faster you'll get. So like if you're like, well, I want it, say it's summer and it's March when I'm doing this video. And you're like, well, I want to go to Aruba and I'll stay at any of the Marriott properties or the Westin. And we want to go in, in the winter because we live in New York or whatever. So you go ongoing search, and then you go, I'll stay at a Marriott Aruba Club, Marriott Surf Club, and the Westin one, and blah, blah, blah. If there's other one or two you want to stay at. So you put, I'll go anytime to any of these resorts, Marriott, Westin, whatever. And then the broader you can be on the time range as well, like if you'll go anytime in February, then put the whole month of February as your check-in date. Or ideally put January through March. The broader you can be on any one of those things, the faster you'll get what you want. And I guarantee if you do that, no matter what resort it is, no matter what area it is, no matter what, it's not an exact statistic, but like 90% of the time, as long as you gave them a strong enough week to get what you picked, you will get what you want. And it'll probably take somewhere up to 6 weeks most of the time. Sometimes it takes longer, but for the most part it won't take longer than that. All right, I think the video is long enough. Hope you guys are well, and maybe the next video I'll still be in Tennessee. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. If you want us to rent out your timeshares, just email your screenshot to support@timesharesimplified.com, where you can download our app, Timeshare Simplified, from the App Store, and you can do everything from the app now. And you can text us at 866-585-8728 if you need any help. And then you can find my book, Timeshare Tips and Tricks, on Amazon as well. And it goes over everything I just said. But forgive my writing because I only got 6 credits in junior college. All right, take care.